What are the insights you gained from the business analysis?
Well, the organization prior to the analysts coming in was very reactive. And so they were able to help us build a new organization to put managers in key positions, to make decisions more effectively on the floor, to help move our customers' product through our facility more efficiently.
This is a story I love to tell. I graduated from college as a civil engineer. I worked for another company for 15 years. I had absolutely no business background in college or in the other business. I was strictly engineering. I started my own company and we grew tremendously over a few years. And I was growing and I was working too much. I was just putting too many hours and I needed some help. So the consultants came in, analyzed me for a couple of days and came back, and I think when we sat down and they started talking is when the light bulb went off. They asked me questions like, Larry, you're the president, right? And I said, yes. You're the CFO? And I said, yes. You're the production supervisor? And I said, yes. You're the chief engineer? And I said, yes. And they said, Larry, you're not going to grow this company unless you break it down into divisions, appoint managers, and manage the managers. Do what you do best, and this company will grow. Well, that was several years ago. The company has grown. We're probably tenfold bigger than we were at that point, and it's a result of that one conversation and their hard work. I brought them back several years later. We have a division that sells to the public, walk off the road type public. And I was not happy with the profitability that I was getting from that walk-in trade. I had the consultants come in, they took a look at what I was doing, and they pointed out a few things that I was unaware of. It's the 80-20 rule. You spend most of your time on 80% of the orders, which happen to be very small orders. I was not getting enough profit on the smaller orders. They developed a matrix that we were able to put into our software that automatically gives me the profitability that I needed. The P&L statement is something that I use monthly. Obviously, a matrix does not give you profit unless you use the two together. It's a tool that I have. I use it every day. If the profits seem to be slipping, I go back and adjust that matrix. It's an invaluable tool for me, and it's a result completely from the little work I did with those consultants. I'm very pleased.
How did our consultants help you improve the productivity of your employees?
Tom, they helped us in developing and implement the performance key indicators. With those performance key indicators that we discuss weekly in our production meeting, we can identify problems early enough in the game and take corrective actions before the problem becomes a chronic problem.
Well, Tom, you know, the whole reason behind me wanting to start this company in the beginning was that I wanted a more opportunity-based company for employees. The main thing for me was making sure that my employees didn't feel like a number kind of thing. So we looked into an incentive-based program for our employees, both for the managers, the management by objectives, and then an incentive plan for our employees, which means that if they work harder, more productive, a higher quality of work, then there's going to be, the byproduct of that is going to be a higher profit margin, which there'll be a pool of money for us to divvy out incentive monies for them to not have to work long hours to make long hours pay. So we really focused on what that would look like for our employees. And moving forward, it's more definitive as far as what we can, so we had to, what we can provide. So we looked way into what's out there for our employees. How do we incentivize them? Is it showing up to work on time every day, you know, all month for a week or quarter or whatever? Or is it being safe? Or is it introducing new ideas to work the job better? Or is it just giving us a sales lead from one of our employees?
Larry, how did you benefit from the financial reporting systems our consultants put in place for you?
We had a profit and loss statement that was very generic, probably developed by some computer program that was within our software. I'm not quite sure how it developed. But the consultants took a good look at it and said, you really need to break this down so that you're showing more of your overhead in different spots. We never broke out depreciation. It was always part of the P&L. Commissions, for example, or like I'm saying, sales commissions, or contributions. We didn't have those defined, and we didn't have them at the end of your profit and loss statement. Things like that that relate to EBITDA. And if you know anything about a business and the bottom line, EBITDA is very important. Those things, when they're put at the end, it's very easy for a potential buyer or a bank to look at your P&L and say, okay, this is the bottom line, but look how much you gave in commissions or how much you gave in contributions. That was a change the consultant made, and I find it very easy to now read my P&L statement.
Well, the financial reporting system that was put in place by the consultants has been huge. It allows us the ability to see where our company is operating and to identify trouble areas and address those quickly. For example, the cash flow report that we have, we utilize in making decisions as to whether to purchase, hire, or procure services, and know how that will affect us in the long term. I think the biggest asset or biggest attribute to the financial reporting system is it basically gives me a dashboard, which allows me the freedom not to be in this office every day, all day long. I can basically identify trouble areas of my company, whether I'm 5,000 miles away or down the street, and address those quickly.
How did our consultants help you get ready to grow your business in the future?
In making us more efficient, they unlocked the capabilities of us to handle more of our customers' volumes, and therefore we're able to grow and digest more of our customers' business.
Short answer on that is we put the Everest Initiative, and we defined what that is and the growth for over a 5-year plan, and put all of the controls in place to achieve it and be able to plan to work and work to plan was Robert's favorite saying. You know, you got to have a plan and you got to work to plan. So I think that in short is what we've put in place and how we've tried to do this thing, and then understanding that if we have a goal and we have a plan and we work the plan, then we'll be able to achieve what we put out in front of us.
Barbara, what would you say to a business owner who's considering using our analytical and consulting services to improve his business?
Go for it. Just go for it. As a small business owner, myself, I can speak for myself and for my husband, we don't have a college degree. And I'm actually going to steal a quote from my husband, is that we didn't go to college, but we went to college with Henry's help in a matter of a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I've gained a friend in my consultant. I can call him and he'll walk me through something when I lose my confidence. You know, we have, as business owners, this front that we always have to show, whether it's to our clients, whether it's to our employees, that we've got it in control. But there are some times when we don't, and we need that extra little push from somebody saying, keep the faith, keep going, you're doing great. You know what you got to do, just do it. And it's like our own little personal coach. I would do it again and again and again and again and again. Don't weigh the costs. Don't even look at the costs, because they're not going to charge what they can't gain you. So just do it. Just go for it.
Tom, one of the keys to this business improvement is the multiple times we've had the consultants in. We've had them in 3 times. We know we're going to have them in the future, probably multiple times. Each time you get to a level in your business, you need a little help to get over that hump. Because as an entrepreneur, you're sitting back focusing on where are the weaks and strengths in your own business, what are the needs that can be met, how can we meet meet those needs of other businesses. And you get so focused on that, you don't have time a lot of times to focus on the detail. Neither do your managers. They're looking at productivity, they're looking at where they can grow, what new customers they can bring on. And the thing that always slides in a business are the detail stuff. When bringing a consultant in, he identifies those areas of weakness, even beyond what you can see. You need that fresh set of eyes out there looking at your business. You need that fresh view of seeing opportunities. They need to know how your business operates. They need to get in your head to understand how you're operating, and they do an excellent job at that. These consultants are professional. They've worked before in the industries that they come in to your business to represent, whether it's tax, whether it's management structure, whether it's growth, whatever it is. They have the right people to put in place. And once you go through the process, you always are a phone call away from any questions that you might have. They're there all the time for you. It's like forming a partnership or bringing a staff in that you don't have to pay for all the time. Yes, you have to pay for upfront costs. There's no way around that. But what we found out is in the costs that are associated on our profitability side, we're doubling our profitability. We're doubling our growth. We're doubling our customer unity. We're doubling our employee unity. We're putting new managers. We're hiring new people. We're growing our business. I can honestly say if this was left up to just myself and my wife as owners of this company, we'd be a third of the size that we are now. They help you see what you can't see because you're just so close to your company's issues.
Describe to me what your business was like before you brought in our team of business experts and how it has changed for the better today.
Wow, bringing in the experts, Tom, was phenomenal. The way we ran the business before is that we recognized early on that we don't know everything, okay? So what we had established before we brought in your team was we needed to sit down on a regular basis with our tax advisors, with our CPAs, with our general counsels, with our financial planners and everything else. And it being a family business, our family is vested in this business. It's not just, the painting and the employees, but our family and our family's future depends on this business as well. So by having our advisor meeting 2-3 times a year, we would sit everybody down and we would say, okay guys, this is what Angela and I think. What do you guys think? Give us some feedback. Where should we go with this? We've got this much profit on the line this year. What should I do to do what I need to do here? You need to tell me, So when I brought in your team, they enlightened us in so many ways that with the metric system, with the other avenues that the consulting firm has with tax consulting, with the valuation process, with the exit strategies, none of my other advisors were doing that. And when I brought in my old advisors and asked them about this, some were actually offended. I did end up firing 2 CPAs because of this, because they didn't get it. They were too personally embarrassed or whatever you want to call it, but they didn't provide me the information, and the consulting firm did. So now all my faith, all my comfort is in the consulting firm because they put it on the table for me. They didn't leave me dirty napkins and cookie crumbs after I would pay my previous advisors team to come in and have lunch. I paid them their hourly fees, I fed them lunch, and they left me with dirty napkins and cookie crumbs. So Henry, his team, Dan Schneider, all the guys over there are totally a part of my business. The benefit is phenomenal because they know where I want to take my business, and they're going to help me if I need them to again do that. But they've given me the structure, they've given me the basics, they've given me the information, they've given me the system that I need to take my company and ultimately my family to where we want it to be.
The best word that I can describe that is chaos. We were trying to figure out how to grow, how to bring on a sales team, how to organize it, how to put it together, and stress was really, really high. the team came in and said, what is the one thing you would like to do? And all of us answered the question, we'd like to have more time to ourselves. We are so engulfed in this business. They helped us identify that. They helped us to see that you can not only go and grow your company, but after being in here 3 times, triple your company and even beyond. And it's possible to do it with more time to yourself, to more time to other needs, to community involvement, to church involvement, to things that you have interest in outside of the business. Even though the business has to be your primary focus, we all need to get away from our business. Taking a vacation was impossible. When I went on vacation, I took my laptop, my cell phone. I was connected every day. But since I actually got away on 2-week vacation at once for the first time since I've owned this business in 20 years. And it wasn't just one time. We actually, my wife and I took a week off a month. And other people, other managers are able to take off time without falling apart. And we did this by doubling, tripling our company, and our net worth increased. Now, how can you have more relaxed time and have more net worth? To an entrepreneur, that's an impossibility. But by bringing the consultants in, helped us to identify this is a possibility. Not that you want to neglect your business, your mind's on there, but when you get away for a couple weeks at a time or 1 week a month, you begin to unstress yourself. And it gets to the point where business isn't a heavy burden on you. It's fun. And that would be what I would say the big difference is. We went from a stressful burden situation to enjoying what we do.